Good afternoon. The Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture now calls this public hearing to order. Today is Monday, February 12th, 2024. The time is 2:13. In compliance with the open government law, notices of this public hearing was published in the Guam Daily Post and posted on the Government of Guam notice portal on Monday, February 5th, 2024 for the 5-day notice, and on Friday, February 9th, 2024 for the 48-hour notice. Notices were also sent by email to all senators and all main media broadcasting outlets. This hearing is being live streamed on the Guam Legislative's YouTube channel. General rules of conduct. Individuals testifying shall first be recognized by the chair before speaking and begin by stating their name for record-keeping purposes. In an effort to minimize distractions while someone is testifying, the committee asks those present to please be quiet and refrain from moving around within the public hearing room. Additionally, we have asked protocol to keep the doors quiet. Individuals who are presenting oral testimony are invited to submit written testimony afterwards in order to ensure that their input is accurately transcribed. After testifying, panelists will only be allowed to speak again in direct response to questioning or an invitation of a senator who has the floor, or at the discretion of the committee chair. After all have testified, senators will be recognized for 5 minutes of questioning of the panel or comments on the bill and shall not interrupt other senators or any other person testifying. This hearing is to collect testimony, not to debate or to engage in back and forth arguments with the participants. Berating any of the witnesses will not be allowed. If you ask a question, allow them to answer. The item on today's agenda this afternoon is Bill number 199-37LS from the Committee on Maritime, Transportation, Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, Senior Citizens by the request of a Kongressun, Manhoben, Guåhan, the Guam Youth Congress, in according with 2 GCA, Section 7102, an act to amend Section 23101 and to add a new Section 23110, both Chapter 23, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to sugary drinks. I'd like to acknowledge my comments that are present, Senator Amanda Shelton and Senator Tom Fisher. The first item on the agenda is Bill number 199-37 with the Committee on Maritime, Transportation, Air Transportation, and so forth. It's a long title, so I won't reiterate it again. But before we hear from those that have signed up to testify for this bill, I would certainly like to invite the prime sponsor, Senator Amanda Shelton, to please introduce the bill.
Siduous Masi, Madam Chair. Thank you to Speaker Terlaje for scheduling this public hearing on Bill 199-37 and for the opportunity to offer opening remarks on the bill. Bill 199-37 is an act to amend Section 23101 and to add a new 23110, both of Chapter 23, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to sugary drinks. I introduced Bill 199-37LS at the request of the 34th Guam Youth Congress. The GYC measure promotes healthier lifestyles by limiting the size of sugary drinks that may be sold at eating and drinking establishments and via licensed vending machines. Bill 199-37 defines sugary drinks to mean drinks that have added sugars, including soda, sweetened iced tea, sports drinks, energy drinks, fruit punch, and other fruit-flavored drinks. The bill as drafted excludes seltzers, sugar-free drinks, diet drinks, sweetened flavored milk, and 100% juice. Although Bill 199-37 deals specifically with limiting the sale of sugary drinks that may be sold to customers at restaurants and through vending machines to 17 fluid-ounce containers, the Guam Youth Congress proposal mirrors similar efforts in other communities. In 2019, California lawmakers proposed legislation that would apply a statewide tax to all sugary drinks, including sodas, sports drinks, sweet teas, and energy drinks, prohibit soda companies from offering manufacturers' coupons to partnering bottlers, distributors, or retailers, prevent retailers from placing sugar-sweetened drinks near checkout counters, restrict the sale of soft drinks in cups to 16 fluid ounces, and mandate sugar-sweetened beverages to contain a health warning label. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, between 2011 and 2014, 6 in 10 youth and 5 in 10 adults drank a sugar-sweetened beverage on a given day. On average, U.S. youth consumed 143 calories from sugar-sweetened beverages, and U.S. adults consumed 145 calories from these beverages on a given day. The CDC reported that adults and adolescents who smoke, don't get enough sleep, don't exercise much, eat fast food often, and who do not eat fruit regularly are more likely to be frequent consumers of sugar-sweetened beverages. Additionally, adolescents who frequently drink these beverages also have more screen time, including more time with televisions, cell phones, computers, and video games. The effects of sugar-sweetened beverages on our bodies are associated with weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, kidney diseases, non-alcoholic liver disease, tooth decay, and cavities. While I'm aware of some of the criticisms that have been made publicly against Bill 199-37, referencing the proposal as a form of nanny state legislation, I'm grateful that on this critical public health issue, our youth recognize the broader fight we face against chronic diseases, particularly type 2 diabetes, knowing that 1 in 6 residents on our island are affected by diabetes. With that, Madam Chair and colleagues, I thank the GYC for offering their ideas for consideration, and I look forward to our discussion this afternoon and to working with our colleagues and the 34th Guam Youth Congress, all relevant stakeholders, to help build a healthier island community. Sejus Maasi.
Thank you very much, Senator Shelton. With regards to legal review of this bill, a legal review of the bill was requested from the Legal Bureau on February 8, 2024, and a response from the Legal Bureau is still pending. The summary of the bill or bill to read, again, I'm not going to reiterate the title. We already read that several times. And then with regard to the fiscal note, a fiscal note impact was requested on November 3rd, 2023, and BBMR has responded on November 9th, 2023, stating that bill number 199-37LS, as introduced, is administrative in nature and will have no impact on any government of Guam general funds. With that, the committee will now receive testimony on the bill. And to begin, I think we will call up Nathan Paz from the Guam Youth Congress, and then also we'll have Francine Salas from Department of Public Health and Social Services to provide their testimony. In addition, we'll have Michelle Torcelino, Raina Casco, Dylan Casco, and then we can also, since we have 7 positions up here, we have Camilla Way, and John Lapid. If you can come up and please have a seat, and we can begin providing our testimony, and we're here to listen to you. I'm just sitting in this afternoon on behalf of Speaker Terlaje, who's the chair of this committee. I serve as her vice chair, just in case you might be wondering why the speaker is not able to attend today. Do we have any of the other names I mentioned that signed up or to provide testimony, or are you choosing not to provide testimony? I know we have also students here from the JFK Close-Up program that are here. Can you just raise your hand so we know who you are? Wonderful. Okay, if no other participants here want to testify of the names I've mentioned, then by all means, we welcome you and thank you for coming. And with that, if we can start with Nathan Paz, if you would like to begin. I understand you spearheaded this particular bill, so we'll extend the courtesy to you to begin your testimony. Then after that, we'll have Ms. Salas on behalf of Department of Public Health provide her testimony.
All right. Thank you, Senator Brown, and thank you as well to Senator Shelton and Senator Fishing for attending the public hearing today. So again, my name is Nathan Paz, and I sit before you as the 34th Guam Youth Congress representative and the main sponsor of this bill. So Senator Shelton summarized the bill pretty nicely, but I'm here today to voice my strong support for this bill. Currently, I want to redefine sugary drinks. We tend to think of it as a harmless, sugary drinks as a harmless product or a dessert or something to accompany our main dishes. But today I'd like for us to think of sugary drinks as an issue, and more specifically a health issue that impacts our island and our islanders. According to the Harvard School of Health, the consumption of sugary drinks has been long identified as a major contributor to metabolic diseases such as diabetes, type 2 diabetes specifically, and obesity. And here on island, our obesity rate is between 30 and 35%, and our diabetes rate is 33 per 100,000 individuals, while the US mainland only sees 17.7 out of 100,000 individuals. So essentially, our diabetes and obesity rates that we see here on island are double than that of the US mainland. And so it is my intention with this bill that I hope we can cut back on some of the additional calories that we consume while we're eating our island meals. And we see the effects of sugary drinks everywhere. We see it in the 32-ounce cups that when we go through McDonald's drive-thru. We see it in the large bottles of like the red syrups for Tomorrow Punch. And we also see it in the largest serving sizes in our drive-thrus, Infusion, Island Girl, all of the fraps and added sugars that go along with that. And so another reason why I wanted to introduce this bill is because we as consumers, we tend to consume sugary drinks in the amount that we order it. And so as myself as a consumer, I'm more likely to purchase a large cup of soda rather than a small or medium cup just because of the perceived cost benefits that I see, especially if there's only really a 75 or $1 difference. But the problem with this is even if we are saving money on this, then in turn it leads to excessive additional sugary drink consumption and excessive calories. And what else? And also, aside from the cost benefits, here on the island, I've been raised with the mindset, and as well as my family, with the idea of not letting any food go to waste. And unfortunately, this has also extended into our sugary beverages. So things like Gatorade, sports drinks, sodas. Usually we're not, or at least in my household, we're not allowed to leave the dinner table until we finish everything on our plate, and that includes any drinks that we pour out. So to close, if this bill is passed, then I expect that the types of establishments to be most affected by this measure would be fast food restaurants, coffee shops, drive-thrus, and food trucks, and targeting specifically drinks with added sugars, such as fruit smoothies, sodas, iced teas, fraps, and other fruit-based drinks. Again, thank you all for your consideration, and I'm open to any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Representative Paz, for providing your testimony. It's most appreciated. With that, we'll ask Mrs. Francine Salas from Department of Public Health to provide her testimony on behalf of the department.
Good afternoon. I understand speaker's not here, so my name is Francine Salas. I'm a management analyst with the Department of Public Health and Social Services, Division of Environmental Health. And I'm reading the testimony per our acting director, Peter John Camacho. So, Hafaday, Madam Speaker, and members of the 37th Guam Legislature. My name is Peter John Camacho, acting director of the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present testimony on Bill 199-37 LS, an act to amend Section 23101 and to add a new Section 23110, both of Chapter 23, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to sugary drinks. The Department of Public Health and Social Services, known as DPHSS, Division of Environmental Health, known as DEH, serves and protects the people of Guam from environmental hazards and drug diversion through education and the implementation of governing laws designed to prevent injuries, diseases, disabilities, and deaths. The mandates of DEH are found in Division 2 of Title 10 Guam Code Annotated, which includes Chapter 23, which is being amended and a new section being added. Bill 199-37 LS proposes to add a new section, 23110, to Chapter 23, prohibiting the sale of sugary drinks larger than 17 fluid ounces in eating and drinking establishments to include vending machines, and disallow the use of cups larger than 17 fluid ounces in establishments providing self-service sugary drinks. The bill also adds to the chapter new terms, that being sugary drinks and self-service in their definitions. DPHSS recognizes the intent of Bill 199-37 and commends the advocacy of the Guam Youth Congress and the importance of reducing the consumption of sugary drinks. However, the proposed legislation is outside the tenets and mission of not just simply DEH, but the field of environmental health in general. The core principle of environmental health is preventing adverse impacts to health from biological, physical, chemical, and radiological contamination from the environment, which includes communicable diseases. Communicable diseases, as defined by the U.S. CDC, Centers for Disease Control, are illnesses caused by viruses, bacteria, and parasites that people spread to others through contact with contaminated surfaces such as foods and water, bodily fluids, blood products, insect bites, or through the air. On the other hand, non-communicable diseases such as chronic diseases, which are usually linked to the overconsumption of fatty foods, sugary drinks, alcohol, tobacco, and other substances, are not communicable diseases, and meaning it is not passed from one person to another. Therefore, while Guam focuses on economic recovery, we recommend a focus on comprehensive education at this time, which the findings and intent section of this bill also recognizes that and states on page 2, lines 9 through 15, Y legislatura en Guåhan further recognizes the complexity of this public health issue, understanding that a comprehensive strategy is necessary to reduce obesity and will not be solved by reducing the portion size of sugary drinks served in the food and beverage industry alone. Other efforts, including consumer education on calorie consumption, promotion of healthy diets and physical activity, increasing healthy food access, and personal lifestyle changes are also necessary to reduce the obesity risk in Guam. The Department suspects the proposed placement of the provision of Bill 199-37 is a result of Section 23109, which is also found in Chapter 23. Section 23109 was enacted in 2011 at the opposition of DPHSS for the very reason it does not support Bill 199-37. It is not consistent with the tenets of environmental health. Similar in concept to Bill 199-37, 23109 mandates DEH, along with the Department of Administration, to control the nutritional content of food and beverage sold in vending machines and mobile food establishments. As commented earlier, DPHSS agrees with the spirit and intent of Bill 199-37. However, as currently proposed, it would present an enforcement challenge to DEH. We believe the comprehensive education may be more effective in achieving the intended goal of Bill 199-37, especially considering that many food and beverage establishments are still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. We thank you once again for allowing us to provide our testimony and ask members of the 37th Guam Legislature to take into consideration the Department's recommendations and comments. I actually have one addendum to my testimony that was sent to me like 10 minutes ago. So I will be adding to this, and it'll be submitted as a subsequent supplement to the testimony. Okay. If the Guam Legislature decides to pass Bill 199, DPHSS recommends that the language in Bill 199-37 be further developed into a new chapter under Division 4 of Title 10 Guam Code Annotated. Much like the language in the Natasha Protection Act of 2005, which is Chapter 90, allowing for multiple agencies to enforce the mandate, and Section 23109 of Title 10 be deleted from Chapter 23 and also reassigned in Division 4 of Title 10. And that's pretty much my supplement to the testimony. And Division 4 of Title 10 Guam Code Annotated is known as the Guam Health Act Division. So there's several types of laws and chapters in there that reflect the similar type of intent of Bill 19937. So it's just, the division believes perhaps it's just in a different section. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Salas, for providing your testimony. I know my colleagues will have questions or comments, but I'm getting feedback that we are having audio issues with regards to our telecast this afternoon, so I'm just going to call for a very brief recess, and we'll have audio get back to us in a few minutes, and then we will be able to continue our public hearing. Thanks you so much for your consideration and your patience. With that, we'll be in recess. The Committee on Health is called back to order. Hopefully our issues have been addressed, but I also like to ask all of those of us that are on and using the microphones, or if you're testifying, please talk as close as you can to the microphone because it causes feedback. So members of the audience hear the feedback on their end when they're trying to listen to the hearing. With that, I'll ask Senator Amanda Shelton if she has any questions or comments on the testimony.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. No questions at this time, but I wanted to comment and thank the Department of Public Health and Social Services. I wanted to thank the Guam Youth Congress, Representative Paz, and all of the students here, I think from JFK. Are you all from JFK? The JFK students who are here today to show their support for the bill, and our colleagues, of course, who are here to discuss it. Thank you very much for your time and your input.
Thank you very much, Senator Shelton. With that, Senator Tom Fisher, do you have any questions or comments?
I do, ma'am. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to join Senator Shelton in congratulating the Department of Public Health, but in particular the Guam Youth Congress and you folks from the Close-Up program who came forward. I think all of us would agree as we look out, we're probably almost certainly looking at future senators of Guam and almost certainly a governor and lieutenant governor of Guam because you people are involved, and that is what we need. I wanted to ask Representative Paz a question. Sir, as senators, lawmakers, we frequently borrow from other legislations or other jurisdictions. You know, oh, this law looks good, so we cut and paste, right? Were you one of the drafters of this bill?
Thank you, Senator Fisher. May I clarify, when you say drafters, like, did I originally write this bill?
Well, sure, but I was just wondering if you picked it up from another jurisdiction, and if so, how's that jurisdiction handling the situation?
Okay. To my knowledge, a similar legislation was introduced in New York City,
Yeah.
I believe in the year of 2011. Unfortunately, the mayor there faced challenges regarding the legality. I believe the eventual outcome was that the legislation was shot down by the state court.
Okay. I was wondering about that myself. I was wondering if there was some sort of a constitutional challenge to this, and I know that we haven't heard back from our legal counsel. Do you have any idea on, do you have an opinion on that? I mean, I guess the challenge would be, can Guam forbid the sale of a product in a certain size that is available across all jurisdictions? Do we have the authority to restrict interstate commerce like that?
Okay. Thank you, Senator Fisher. So I understand the question. Unfortunately, I have no knowledge or background.
Okay, fair enough. I did want to ask you about when you wrote the bill, the definition.
Yes.
The definition of a food service establishment, which I think you'll find at the present 23110. It's a rather lengthy definition. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because if I were, I don't know, if I were working for 7-Eleven or Circle K or somebody that sells these, jumbo cups, I think I would argue that I'm not a food establishment. I sell gasoline. Would you be amenable to amending the definition of food establishment to include things like, mobile and 7-Eleven, which or mobile station and the gas station, because they may have an escape valve on this. Would you be amenable to including in the definition something that would cover those people?
Yes. Yes, Senator Fisher, I would be agreeable to including like mobile gas stations as part of it, like you're referring to like the slushies and big gulps? The
slushies and the Polar Pops and stuff. Yes. Like that. They look like they're 24 ounces. You've thought more about this than I have. May I bring in a cup? For example, if I've got a 24-ounce cup, may I bring that into a food establishment and fill it up over and above the 17-ounce limitation?
Yes. Okay.
What do you think?
My thoughts on that, it would not be permitted under this act. Only 17 and under.
Okay.
Yeah, or about the size of a standard soda bottle.
Okay. All right. I guess really that's all the questions I had, Mr. Representative. I applaud you and the entire Guam Youth Congress and all of you folks for coming forward. I look forward to seeing the very next bill you folks crank out. Again, thank you very much for participating. And, sir, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Senator Fisher. With that, do we have anyone else who would like to testify today at the hearing? If not, I'm just going to at least read your name into the record for those of you that are here that did sign up. We have Princess Noella Garcia, Shauna Che, Siho Kim, Valine Urango, Danielle Ekreluz, Stephanie Nabua. Those are the other individuals that signed up today. But thank you very much for coming and participating, particularly those from the JFK Close-Up program. And certainly Senator Fisher's comments are very true. I mean, almost 39 years ago, I was Speaker of the Guam Youth Congress for 2 terms. And this is my 8th term in office. I first ran 30 years ago for the Guam legislature and was here for 6 terms and came back after 14 years. So if this is something of interest to you, regardless of where you choose to go and do in your life, being engaged in the actions of your government are very critical, because this is where the decisions get made, good, bad, or ugly. They get made here with regards to policy. So I hope you continue your interest and your level of engagement, because we need more informed and involved citizens to improve our community. So thank you, all of you, for coming, and also Ms. Salas for coming on behalf of the Department of Public Health and Social Services. With that, if there's no one else here who desires to provide testimony, I will conclude this hearing this afternoon. It is now 2:41 p.m. and we will conclude this hearing. We will be back at 3 o'clock to address the second bill that is on our agenda, and that will be Bill number 162-37, introduced by William Parkinson, Senator Tom Fisher, an act to amend Section 3218.1 of Chapter 3, Article 2, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, and repealing relative to updating the Women's Reproductive Health Act of 2012. So with that, we will conclude this hearing on this bill. We will consider that Bill number 199-37 has been publicly heard. And with that, the committee is now in recess. Thank you very much.